This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Remember when Kathy Griffin, the comedian, did her little stunt, the stupid thing she did with the bloody, what looked like Trump's head, took a picture, and the right lost their minds. Some of it I think was justified. I think some of that, it goes beyond art. I think it is threatening, although not like Kathy Griffin's ever going to actually pose a physical threat to Donald Trump in any way. But public figures have a responsibility to act responsibly, especially with their speech, because even an idiot like me, 500,000 or so subscribers on YouTube and however many everywhere else, people, when you have access to an audience, there is invariably going to be a tiny fraction of that audience that is willing to take matters into their own hands and act unreasonably, sometimes even violently. So it's incumbent upon someone with a platform to act responsibly. That's why I'm critical of types like Kathy Griffin and the idiot I'm going to talk about today, John Schneider, one of the Duke brothers. His claim to fame is driving around in an orange Dodge Charger or GTO or whatever. I'm not a car guy, so I don't know. Whatever hot rod it was, emblazoned with the symbol of cowards and traitors to the United States of America, the Confederate flag, the Confederate battle flag, or whatever, to get technical. Yesterday, he replied to a tweet from Joe Biden. The tweet was this: Trump poses many threats to our country, the right to choose, civil rights, voting rights, and America's standing in the world. But the greatest threat he poses is to our democracy. If we lose that, we lose everything. Reasonable tweet. John Schneider, Bo Duke. Is he Bo or is he Luke? Don't know. He tweeted, then immediately deleted this. Mr. President, I believe you are guilty of treason and should be publicly hung. I think, I could be wrong, that it would be correctly written as hanged. Your son too. Your response is, ? Sincerely, John Schneider. Bo Duke, threatening the life of the President of the United States, using his following, substantial following, to foment violence, to encourage violence against the President of the United States of America. A couple things. One, at least he's calling Joe Biden the president, doesn't believe he's not actually the President of the United States. But we know that he knows it was wrong because he deleted the tweet. We know that he's now afraid he's going to have his door knocked upon by the United States Secret Service to investigate this threat, credible threat, against the President of the United States. Now, what would happen if this was Kathy Griffin, for instance? What if this was Alec Baldwin or some other notable liberal celebrity? What would the right do? What would the right do if this exact tweet was in response to a Donald Trump tweet when he was president of the United States? If it said, Mr. President, I believe you are guilty of treason and should be publicly hung. And your children, Donald Trump, your kids, Barron, should be hung. Your response is, sincerely, liberal celebrity. They lose their minds. But because they are hypocrites and liars and individuals very fond and good at suggesting violence by someone else. It's not John Schneider who's going to be doing the hanging. I mean, all of this comes on the heels. Now we're years removed from it. But when a very real threat to one of the administration in Mike Pence took place just blocks away from where I sit right now on the lawn of the United States Capitol, where a hangman's gallows was constructed, and every time I talk about it, I remind the audience, not hastily constructed. They had lumber cut to the precise measurements. They had the hardware, the nuts and the bolts and the washers. They had the tools to put it together. It was premeditated to put together the hangman's gallows upon which, possibly, Mike Pence could be hanged. by the neck until dead. The right's real good at this stuff. They're equally good at whining when the very same thing they do gets done to their guy. And we should be outraged. This should be unacceptable to us. In a liberal democracy, this unreasonable violence should be met with swift action. And I hope, for the sake of Joe Biden and his family and his son, that swift action is taken. Even if it's just to make an example at a doofy Bo Duke or Luke Duke or whichever idiot he played in his younger, more successful days. Maybe he's just knowing he's a has-been and he's trying to get his name out there again. Maybe he's upset like the Kevin Sorbos of the world and the Dean Cains of the world that he's not working. And maybe you're not working, dipshit, because you're doing shit like this, threatening the life of the President of the United States of America. What do you think? I'd love to know. I invite your participation in this conversation. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me all the time, every day, daily at Dollemore.com. Put me in your address book. I'd love to be a contact. If you want to help support my work, produce this message, if you appreciate me like I appreciate you, please consider supporting what we do. Click the join button below. For $1.99 a month, you can become a channel member. You can hit the super thanks button. You can go over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Follow me on social media. Share this video there. Tag me in the post. I'm at Dollemore on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, Blue Sky, all of them. At Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. Anyway, until next time, be genuine. Take care of one another.